Well. We got some scary animated reactions about effing time. Late Max. Today, we got motherfucking 3 true disturbing trucker horror stories animated. Okay, we're gonna get into it. Hope you have a great, fantastic day. You know what I mean? I wish these did better on the channel because I frick with these. Like horror, like I don't know, horror videos just don't do good over here. But I fricks with it though. But we're gonna tap in today. You know what I mean? Give y'all a nice little early Christmas present from me to you. Okay. Let's get it.
I've been working in shipping for quite some time. Driving through dark, sketchy roads and stopping in the middle of nowhere to check tires had become my usual. On one side of the highway, I often witnessed the Canadian Rockies, standing like towering giants. I'd driven this stretch 100 times before, but that night seemed weird. It felt too quiet, like the road ahead held a bad omen. I passed a small town whose name I had forgotten, with my caffeine-dead mind and bladder full. I had missed the last rest stop altogether, oblivious that I was not.
Absolutely not. Like, come on. Like, I understand you got to take a tinkle, but you're out of town. You're in the middle of the woods, and you're in an area, a location you're not familiar with at night. Absolutely not. You're gonna have to find a cup and you might have to pull an LTG and start pissing in a bottle or something. Seriously.
Using the last mile marker. And I couldn't wait another 30 miles, so I pulled over. Opening the door, I stepped out and took a long stretch. My back was killing me. I walked to the tree line to release myself. The black silhouettes of pine trees were moving in the cool wind.
By yourself
they were so
too?
dense that pitch black rested in the backdrop.
Nah.
Once done, I reached into my pocket and grabbed a cigarette. I lit it and took a couple of slow drags to calm down. As I stood there, my eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness surrounding me.
Or do you say this gas
I saw
went
a
out?
sudden shift in movement behind the trees. At first, I thought it was a deer. The way it sprinted through the trees felt odd.
I don't
I'd
want no
never
deer,
seen
bro.
a deer move like that before. Another figure slowly started to emerge from the darkness. A man, seemingly in his 30s, maybe older. He was tall, dressed in jeans and a hooded jacket, but it was hard to tell. The dark
In the middle of nowhere in the woods? Come on. That's a clear sign. Like, you got to have a weapon on you. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's like a situation where your engine go out or gas, or you're low on gas, you on E, you literally have to stop. Your car won't go. So, you're effed. But a situation where somebody coming out the woods, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, you got to have some sort of weapon. Gun, but if you can't carry in your state, pepper spray, pepper gel, a knife.
was playing tricks on my eyes, making his movements strange and jerky. My gut twisted.
Not only that, I see you coming out of the woods looking crazy. There's literally nothing for us to talk about. Like, you could literally be telling me your girlfriend is pregnant and needs help delivering a baby or anything. There's nothing for us to talk about at 2 in the morning when we're stranded in the forest. Nothing.
There wasn't another soul on this highway. No parked cars and no cabins nearby.
No.
Just me, my medium-duty truck, and
Woods.
now him. I kept it casual, crushed my cigarette under my boot, and calmly walked back to the truck.
Yeah, get out of there.
I got in and locked the doors. I put it in drive, foot hovering over the gas. But for some reason, I didn't peel out. I just watched him.
What?
He continued walking, one step at a time. He never increased his pace or slowed down.
Drive off.
His hood obscured his face, yet his eyes remained fixated on me.
And he on some evil time. He ain't even like acknowledge you. Like, hey, woo, like any sort of like regular, normal human greeting. This ain't human. This is an extraterrestrial being. Getting up out of there, bro.
His gaze could pierce your soul.
Not staying to look for
He
nothing.
reached the passenger window and stopped. Lifting his bony hand, he knocked on the glass.
Ain't nothing to talk about.
My body jerked involuntarily.
Nothing.
He brought his pale, skinny face closer to the window. I noticed his hollow cheeks and sleepless eyes. His lips were badly cracked, like he hadn't had a drink in days. I didn't want to, but I rolled down the window an inch. "What's up, man?" I asked in a firm voice, gripping the wheel. He let out a deep, raspy breath and replied,
I need you to call the cops.
I took a good look at him, trying to find possible signs of an injury to
Not calling
determine if he
nothing.
needed help or not. I couldn't see a single scratch on him.
Like, he got plenty of time. Like, you shouldn't even put your window. You shouldn't even be there. But you shouldn't even put your window down. He got plenty of time. React, go into the freaking car and grab something or try to do something to you, bro. Ain't nothing for us to talk about. You could be dying, bleeding out, having ate and drunk for 30 days, 30 nights. Like, Jesus. Bro.
Confusedly, I asked, is everything all right? He lifted his hand and started scratching his head with a knife.
Like, come
his
on, bro.
eyeballs moved randomly, like he didn't know what to do with the weapon. The sharp blade of the knife glinted in the moonlight.
I came out here to kill myself.
He said in a low, shaking voice.
Well, you can do that away from my car. I don't want your blood on my freaking truck. I just got it clean. All right? If you want to take yourself off the planet, that's cool. That don't got nothing to do with me. Do that in the freaking woods. You making me uncomfortable. You literally by my door with a weapon on you.
Walked from town, but when I was about to do it, I saw their faces. My daughters. I couldn't go through with it.
For a long second, neither of us spoke. The only sound was the faint clicking of my hazard lights.
They gotta do with
I
me.
called the cops and made sure to stay in my car, watching him constantly until they arrived. He didn't move. He just stood there, quietly crying. Tears streamed down that dead-eyed face as if they didn't even belong to him. I told him gently to leave the knife on the ground before the cops arrived. He stared at me like he didn't understand, then slowly crouched and placed the blade on the gravel. When the red and blue lights of the cop cars finally flashed in my rearview mirror, I felt relieved. They cuffed him, patted him down, and asked me a few questions. Before they drove off with the man, I walked to his door to have a few last words with him. I wasn't scared anymore. Hey, I said, meeting his eyes one last time. It's not over. You hear me? You walked out of those woods alive. Don't waste that. Live for your girls. He didn't say anything. He just gave a slight, barely noticeable nod. Then they took him away.
I still want to talk
It's
to him.
been
I ain't
years
gonna lie.
since that night, but sometimes when I'm driving these empty roads, I see him again, standing by the tree line, watching, waiting. And I wonder, did he make it? Or is part of him still out there, lost in the dark? Either way, I don't stop to piss on the side of the road anymore.
Good. You need to pick a bottle up. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even bad. But still, like, I don't know you. You're a complete stranger. Like, it's different. Especially when when I get very uncomfortable, I get very, like, not aggressive, but like I'm very much P's and Q's, like real militant. But if it's like in the daytime, public, you know what I'm saying? Be like, hey, need help, woo woo. I'll be more willing to help you out. I don't know where I'm at. Both sides is thick woods. You coming out of the freaking woods with a knife and a hoodie on, looking like a crazy person? Nah, bro. It could be literally anything. I'm not helping you. I'm taking off immediately because I don't know your intentions. You could be saying that. Fortunately, this situation wasn't nothing crazy, but it could have been. He could have got the bad ending, be like, yeah, woo woo, I need your help. You know what I'm saying? Just need somebody to talk. Get out the truck. He kill you, slice your throat open, man, and then have sex with your corpse. I don't know, something crazy. Absolutely not.
This happened last week. I was driving down the empty highway for almost 4 hours. I needed to deliver some machine parts for a construction company in Utah. It rained for the first few miles, which compelled me to drive slowly. Upon reaching the dusty...
What's in Utah other than the jazz and Mormons? And probably beautiful nature. What else? What's the frickin'... What is there to do in Utah?
road, I was exhausted. Thunder rumbled in the sky, and I decided it would be best to stop for the night and begin after sunrise.
Kinda thick.
I parked the truck under a tree and finished the cold turkey sandwich made by my wife. It tasted like her hugs. I rolled down the window to take a good look at my surroundings. It wasn't raining, but a cold, gushing wind was howling into the darkness of the night. Closing the window curtains, I reclined the seat and used my jacket like a blanket to fall asleep. After about an hour, I heard the door handle jiggle. It came from the driver's side. It sounded like metal against metal.
Somebody try to get in?
Subtle and almost polite, like whoever was out there was checking to see if maybe they could just let themselves in. I sat straight up. You know that feeling when you're deeply asleep, but you hear an unfamiliar sound and you immediately open your eyes, trying to figure out whether what you heard is real or not? That one. So far, no cars passed by. There had not even been the crunch of tires. I took my time to pop back up. I tiptoed to the edge of the curtain and peeked out from the corner.
If I'm sleeping and I get waked up by my freaking door handle shaking, I'm not finna investigate it, okay? It could be a coincidence, but I'm not gonna test and find that out. I'm just gonna start the car up and drive somewhere else, okay? Fight through the fatigue and find the nearest truck stop. If I even gotta put it in reverse, Terry. If I gotta put it in reverse and go to the nearest truck stop, I'm gonna go there.
I saw nothing outside. All I saw were empty roads and trees. Suddenly, I heard a click on the passenger door handle. I crouched down, popping my face up to the top of the curtain once again. But there was no one. A cold shiver ran down my spine. I pressed the starter. The engine roared to life, and the lights illuminated the way. Spotlights, floodlights, everything worked. The high beams showed the long, stretched road ahead, and it was empty. No person was hiding next to my door, and no car was behind me. I told myself it was the wind. Hell, it must have been gusty.
Must have been the wind.
Maybe the friction had caused some tumbleweed to bounce against my truck. That's what I told myself. I rolled over to return to sleep, but sleep wasn't coming easily now.
On your stomach is crazy.
My ears sharpened. I could hear...
Yeah, on the stomach is crazy. He break into the truck and give you back shots and then kill you. Like, I'll be pissed off. I'm sleeping on my stomach and I die from getting freaking back shotted, and then my throat slit or freaking a gun to my head, man. That's tough. But nah, it's like if I feel like something's up, you know what I'm saying? Something's afoot, suspicious stuff, activities going on. You know, it's like, okay, you know, that intuition gonna kick in. It's like, all right, something not right. Something ain't it. I'm getting gone.
Every creak of my truck frame, every rustling of...
Cause like it hit the passenger. It sounded like somebody was trying to get in. You hear a click. He said it was a click on the... it was like rustling on the driver door and a click on the passenger door. Nothing in nature's gonna make the door click, because the click was more so like somebody trying to get in, pressing buttons.
The wind outside as my mind twisted them into footsteps. Suddenly, the vents started rattling. You know those little panel vents next to the sleeper berth? The ones that no one pays any mind to? Well, it sounded like fingers were prying at the other side. Someone was scraping on them, slowly. The door handles rattled once more, but this time with great intensity. I was starting to get scared now, because this wasn't just the work of one person. It has to be a group of them. Once
Start that freaking truck, bro.
Someone started punching on the metal body of the truck.
Heck
it
no.
felt as though a weight was pressing down in an unexpected place. Someone or something was
dang, they trying to get in there.
Truck from the back, because
I'm talking about in there. He trying to get in there, sir. God, he trying to get in there for real.
I couldn't see anyone on the windshield. I hit the panic button back in the sleeper. The truck alarm started going off. The alarm was loud enough to rouse the dead. I thought for sure that it'd send them screaming.
Shake it.
But it didn't. The noises continued, tapping, scraping. The alarm synchronized with the clicking of the handles. The air suspension hissed, as if the truck sighed under a heavy load. The glass of the windshield cracked from the corner, because something was paddling footfalls across the roof. I didn't dare to come out. I was terrified for my life. I don't exactly remember how long this chaos sustained, but it stopped all of a sudden. The alarm blared for a few more seconds, and everything went silent. It felt as though the world had regained its clarity. For a few long minutes, the only thing I could hear was my own ragged breathing and racing heartbeat. A few minutes later, headlights sliced into the road. Another truck drove past me, and I felt alive again. I remained awake throughout the night, tightly gripping a tire iron as if my survival relied on it.
bro. He can, bro. All that he said it sounded like fingers were trying to get into the vents, pounding on top of the top of the truck. Glass is breaking like somebody trying to break in that, bruh, like a B&E, bruh. God dang, why my mic going flaccid? But nah, you gotta get gone, bro. Like obviously that's not a safe space to be at. Whether that's a real person or that's some paranormal activities.
As soon as the sunlight hit the trees,
Yeah, blood?
I jumped out of the truck, still clutching the tire iron. I looked for footprints and tire tracks, and to my shock, there were dragging bloodstains all over the truck. It appeared as though hordes of hungry zombies had scavenged across the truck, their wounds exposed. And on every window, driver's side, passenger side, even way up on the sleeper's little portholes, were tiny handprints, like a toddler's. It seemed as if someone had licked their palms multiple times and pressed them against the glass. There weren't any tracks leading to or from the truck. Only the tiny, sticky handprints clung to the glass, and the truck's body was covered in bloodstains. I had to clean the truck before driving off because if a cop
explain that to boss.
me, they would have charged me with murder. I still don't know what happened and who did all that to my truck that night. I'm just glad to make it out alive.
Why ain't just drive off? Like I get like being nervous and like being so scared to where like you kind of freeze up, but I do think it do get to a point like the fight or flight should kick in when, especially the second time. Now the first time, all right, you know, I'll let that slide, I guess. You know, if it's just like the door or whatever. Must have been the wind looking at. But if it's feel like or sound like fingers are trying to get into the vent, the vent, banging on the top of the truck, and glass is shattering or breaking, bruh, something ain't right. Obviously, you need to skedaddle and get up out of there. Facts.
I've been driving on Mississippi roads longer than I'm willing to admit. Flat farmland, 2-lane highways that seem to stretch on forever. The quiet and emptiness gradually become familiar to you. But that night, somewhere in between Clarksdale and Greenwood, I fully understood that not all spaces are lonely. I was driving for 14 hours straight. Repeated doses of caffeine and smoking were keeping me awake. The weather had turned ugly fast. There were high wind advisories, tornado watches, and unexpected storms in the Delta. I had called my wife before leaving Clarksdale and told her to expect another call as soon as I was out of the danger zone. But 30 miles out, the hailstorm took over. The hailstorm began with small pebbles, which gradually grew in size and bounced off the hood and windshield with a sharp metallic crack. Any Mississippi boy knows summer begins with hail. I slowed down. I eased off onto the gravel shoulder.
Ain't too much you can do there.
There were no cars in my wake or in front of me. It was just me and my pickup, with nothing but black farmland in every direction. I cut the engine but left the lights on. I rolled down the passenger window and retrieved my flashlight. I threw it out into the fields, and as far as my eyes went, all I could see was rippling corn and distant flashes of lightning.
Probably should have that window up though.
I leaned over to check the driver's side when I saw this man. He was standing right there.
All right. See, you didn't have to do that, though. You didn't have to do that. Like, the jump scare and how crazy he looks right here, you just didn't have to do that. That scared the hell out of me.
Pressing his face against the glass. His eyes were so
Hope your
still
volume
that it
wasn't
felt like
up.
I was staring into two vacant pits. He observed me for a brief moment before beaming a broad.
Like, what are you smiling for? There's a hailstorm. There's nothing to be smiling at. Why are you out in a hailstorm? Get out. Get off my car. I'm gone. Like this situation, this would have made me jump in my car, turn my car on immediately and speed off, because this is obviously not no human. What normal human being you know is going to stand outside in a hailstorm at night, buy some corn? Like, it's just too, like, the setting and the theme is giving horror movie. It's giving Jeepers Creepers. It's giving.
Smile. The wilderness of his smile exposed his crooked
It's the face
yellow
for
teeth.
me.
I screamed, "What the hell do you want?"
Oh man, and he's slow too. Yeah, I'm definitely getting up out of there. I don't know what he gonna do next. This is a mentally ill. I told you, he not human. Like either he not human or he got to be mentally ill. I'm definitely getting up out of there. I don't know what you finna do. I have no idea what you finna do. I can't even expect nothing from you. Like you a wild card. And I'm gonna leave your wild ass right there as I take off going 60, 80 miles an hour. Look at him.
He said something, but I couldn't hear it due to the closed window and hailstorm outside. He kept watching me with no fear of the storm
Bro, that's
or
jump
lightning.
scary.
Suddenly, a big piece of hail hit him. Blood sprinkled on my glass as a deep wound appeared on his forehead. Yet, he still didn't move. That's when I realized this person is not normal. Something's very wrong with him. I started the engine, gripping the steering wheel. I blinked, and he vanished from sight, as if he had never existed. He vanished into the darkness, leaving no sound or shadow behind. I didn't stay to find out where he went. The truck roared back to life, and as I skidded onto the highway, the tires threw gravel. The hail still drummed on.
Yeah, you gotta push through that.
Care.
Yeah,
I drove fast. I didn't look left, right, or in my mirrors. I just
that.
looked at the road.
I
focused on the road that was in front of me. By the time I reached the first gas station, the storm had already passed. I parked with my hands still shaking. My wife would be waiting for my phone call, so I called her back.
Yeah, that's
I
scary.
assured her that I was safe and maintained my composure. I didn't mention the man. I didn't mention the smile. But my mind would not let me forget. You see, our trucks have cameras. Our trucks are constantly recording from the front, rear, and interior of the cabin. I popped the SD card right there and slid it into my tablet.
It was a ghost?
I had to know if that face was real or just my imagination.
Probably
I
ghost.
watched the recording. I recorded every second from the time I left the road until I departed. But there was no sign of the man. There was only the road in the rain. The camera never saw him. I told myself it was stress. The combination of 14-hour shifts, unfavorable weather conditions, and my own delusions were to blame.
I'm not
The
crazy.
Delta can do that to you at night. The vast expanse of open space was so dimly lit that it felt like drowning. Maybe it was all in my head.
Now you seen that,
Until I
bro.
wiped the fog off the side of that window. I found something, and it was faint, but I did spot it. It was a smear, a wide, greasy arc right where the grin had been. Since then, I haven't driven the Delta roads at night.
Now, a situation like that, I can understand somebody smoking some cigs. I get it. And the fact that it actually left the mark.
If you've driven those long, empty stretches before, you know the feeling. It feels as though a presence is observing you from the edge of the cornfields amidst the storm. It seemed as though it was waiting for you to slow down, roll down your window, and take a closer look. I don't know what I saw out there, but I'll never forget those teeth.
Like a sped ghost, a sped spirit. Got cursed for real. So like you just didn't have to do that either. Like you know, it wasn't as bad as the first one, but you just didn't have to do that. Like why? That was not necessary, bro. That scared me too. Jeez Louise. 3 chucker. This is horror stories. This was good. Minus the jump scares. This was good. But now I get it though. You know, like initially, like you get so scared, you kind of lock up, and you don't know what to do. You kind of freeze up. But eventually, you know, that fight or flight kick in. And it's like, all right, man, I gotta go because I don't know what's gonna happen next if I stay here any longer. And if I do stay here longer, I might not end up be able to tell the tale the next day, type situation. But out of those 3 scenarios, I'd rather be in the first story. Nothing paranormal, just a weird suicidal guy coming out the woods. I still wouldn't help them, honestly. Cause like, I don't know you. I don't know your intentions. Okay. Maybe if we met in different circumstances, I probably could have been able to help you. But out the woods, 2-3 a.m. in the morning, don't know where I'm at with a weapon on you. looking like you about to rob and kill me, nah, we good. But hopefully y'all enjoyed, man. If you do, you know what to do. Hope y'all have a great day. I'm gonna catch you later.